My boomer father-in-law kept nagging about how wasteful my generation is, and his would never, so for Christmas, guess who got all our waste? So, for a bit of background, I, 32F, have a father-in-law, 67M, who fits the stereotype of a grumpy old man. My husband, 33M, mentions that his father wasn't always like this, but the years have turned him sour. My father-in-law is always complaining about something, constantly going on right-wing political tangents, always inserting his opinion even if he isn't involved in the conversation, and constantly whining that my husband and I never make time for him despite having him over for dinner every other week. My husband tolerates but doesn't entertain his grumpiness. I handle it like I would handle an incoherent toddler and just reply, "Wow, what an interesting thing to say," and then move along the conversation as if he weren't there. Recently, my husband and I completely reorganized our kitchen. Like most people, we had far too many coffee mugs. We decided to get rid of half of them, so about 17, and we put them in a box and set them aside to be donated. That evening, my father-in-law came over for dinner and noticed the box of mugs by the front door. When he asked about it, we simply said we had too many and needed to get rid of some. He immediately started rambling on about how wasteful our generation is, how we use something for 30 seconds and then throw it away, and how his generation would always use an item until it fell apart, then mend it and keep using it. He finished by saying someone his age would never consider discarding perfectly good items like that. I just responded with, "Okay," and continued getting dinner ready without addressing it further. Well, this past weekend we had our Christmas celebration with my husband's family. We celebrated early due to multiple family members going out of state for Christmas. We enjoyed our evening despite a few grumblings from my father-in-law. Towards the end of the night, we all exchanged gifts. That was when my father-in-law opened a big box of 17 used coffee mugs. He looked at my husband with a confused expression, so my husband said, "You were so vocal about how we shouldn't get rid of perfectly good mugs, so we decided to gift them to you since you clearly wanted them." My father-in-law started making excuses about how he didn't need that many and how he already had mugs and didn't have the space to keep them. My husband just shrugged and said, "I'm sure you'll find something to do with them. Your generation is very resourceful." It's only been 2 days since he got his new mug collection, but he's called my husband and me 7 times trying to convince us to take back the mugs. All I've said was, it would be wasteful for us to take them back. Thank you so much for saving the perfectly good mugs. Update 1. Back in December, I posted about how my father-in-law berated my husband and me for being wasteful when he found out we were getting rid of an excessive number of coffee mugs from our home. We originally planned on donating the mugs, but since my father-in-law was greatly offended by us getting rid of them, we decided to gift him all 17 mugs for Christmas. He was not pleased. It's been about 4 months since this incident. Father-in-law eventually stopped trying to get us to take the mugs back and just accepted his new collection. My husband's family is rather large, and we've celebrated a few birthdays these past few months. Father-in-law has decided to include a coffee mug in people's presents. My husband and I each got one back on our birthdays. My little niece got one for her 4th birthday, and he even sent one to his ex-wife for her birthday. It's become a running joke now that everyone will receive a mug and every mug will continue to be regifted. My father-in-law's birthday is in June, so all of us plan on wrapping up the mugs we've been regifted and giving them back to him. Father-in-law is still as grumpy as ever, but at least he turned this petty revenge into a funny family joke.